So, second declension. We did the first declension with Puella. The second declension comes in two flavors we talked about. What were the two? Masculine and neuter. And so I'm going to write down my case endings. We have nominative, then it's genitive, dative, accusative, then ablative. This is our singular. And then down here, nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, and ablative. This is our plural. So I'm going to start off with the masculine one, the typical one. Let's go with carus. And the genitive singular would be cari. And since we're talking about the masculine, this is masculine. Remember, nominative singular, genitive singular, gender, as we say. And it's cart. And so as we decline through here, we take our stem, which is C-A-R-R. Our nominative singular ending is U-S. And then it's cari, caro, carum, caro, cari, carorum, caris, caros, caris, as we go through. Now, the masculine, there's another type of masculine, second declension masculine. Another type that's almost identical to this, except there's one difference. And what other second declension masculine nouns can you think of that are a little bit different? Just a little bit different. And it's different in the first thing you see. Neuter. They're masculine, they're not neuter. So start naming off some second declension nouns. Yes? We're. Good. There's another one. We have we're-e masculine. Nominative singular, genitive singular, gender. And so in our nominative singular, it's just we're. There's no US. It just ends in an R. So there's really no ending for the nominative singular. It just ends in an R. Other ones would be puer, mengister is one, are all examples. Adjectives like sacer and liber are ones that end in R there as well. And so it goes weary, we're-o, we're-room, we're-o, weary, we're-orum, we're east, we're os, we're east. So again, it's exactly the same, except there's no US in the nominative singular. And so if you see something like we're, puer, it shouldn't scare you. Yes?
Isn't Easter different because it goes like Magistri?
It drops the E.
Yeah.
It's not the biggest of deal. Liber drops the E. Oh, for book, liber, libri, it drops the E. Magister drops the E. There is no rule of thumb for the ones that drop the E. It's not the biggest of deal. Liber kind of makes a difference because it differentiates us between liber book and liber free. Like library, it's L-I-B-R, and a word like liberate is L-I-B-E-R, and that's another way to remember it. If you don't drop the E in Magister and you keep an E there, it's not the end of the world. You can still figure it out because the endings is the most important. Whether or not the E drops is not. You can still figure it out. So any questions on second declension masculine? Now we're going to the neuter. So Second declension neuter, we'll end up with something like, let's do fermentum. I neuter. And so it means grain. And so what puts a noun in a certain declension, what identifies it as a member of that declension, is its genitive singular. All second declension nouns have I for the genitive singular, regardless of its gender. All first declension nouns have AE as its genitive singular, regardless of its gender. So the genitive singular, that's why it's given to you. This genitive singular will identify what declension it falls into, and that's why it's given to you in the dictionary. And so fermentum I neuter. And this declines almost identical to the masculine with a couple exceptions. The first exception we see is the UM in the nominative singular, which is different than the US and the R, so you see that UM. And I'll come by and show you the other exceptions. Then fermenti, fermento, and then fermentum, and then fermento. And now here's another difference. The nominative plural is not fermenti, it's ferment. We talked about it with arma, fermenta. And the genitive is the same. Fermentorum, and then fermentis, and then the accusative is fermenta, exactly the same as the nominative, and I'll mention something about that in a second, and then fermentis. So, something that will help you in Latin too, because we're going to learn a bunch more different declensions, and we're going to learn special things called demonstratives, relatives and intensives and other things like that. They're kind of like qui, qui, quo. But something that will help you is called the neuter law. And for all neuter nouns and adjectives, the nominative and the accusative are always the same form. The nominative and the accusative are always the same form. And so if you know the nominative of a neuter noun or adjective, you know the accusative. And so if it's fermentum here, it's going to be fermentum there. And that's true for all nouns and adjectives that are neuter. It's called the neuter law. So any questions on the first and second declension? And hopefully that's pretty easy for you guys.